Hi everyone, I'm MaryAnn. I'm a visual artist and voice coach from Singapore, currently in Singapore, and welcome to another installment of my weekly vlog series, Live Your Dream. So if you're someone who has a dream and you want to make it come true and you're not quite sure how to get started, how to make that happen, or you've started taking action and you're feeling stuck, you're feeling uninspired, unmotivated, unsupported by the people around you, well, I'm here to share whatever I've learned in my journey so far in the hopes of encouraging you and motivating you, inspiring you, even just letting you know that you are not alone in this journey. Because I'm here and I am also pursuing my dreams and going after what is it that really matters to me and creating a worthy and meaningful purpose for myself. So if you have any questions about this, feel free to ask them in the comments, or you can also directly message me through any one of my social media links, which are in the write-ups attached to these videos. And also subscribe to my channel and turn on your notifications so you will know every single time there is a new vlog ready for you to watch. So today I struggled a little bit trying to figure out what to share, because this past week for me has been like, something is unfolding in my journey, but it's not quite unfolded yet. And so I feel like, I don't really have any words of wisdom to share at the moment with what I'm going through. But because I've committed to this vlog series, I still have to share something. So I'm just gonna talk and see what comes up. So a couple of months ago, I started a almost daily drawing practice of drawing 2 fairy penguins and 1 oak tree from reference photos that I find online. And this was a challenge that was given to me by my teacher. Not so much a art teacher or even a mentor, but more like a life mentor, I guess, or a life teacher. And he basically told me that, you are a self-taught artist, you need to build your fundamentals and your basics. And so I'm telling you, go draw all 17 species of penguins and draw them anatomically accurately. And he suggested penguins because my art so far has been all about penguins as a symbol of us being able to live our dreams and fulfill our biggest desires and fulfilling the potential that we already have in us, because penguins are birds that can't fly, but birds, but because it's a bird, it has a potential for flight, and so things like that. Okay, so it's just a symbol in my work. So he suggested for me to go and draw them, and I didn't know what else to do, because currently with COVID still going on, I think my project to paint 100 murals around the world, which I started in 2018, 2019. I got as far as 8 of them, and then I came back to Singapore, and then I was supposed to do more last year, and then COVID happened, and so here I am figuring out what am I gonna do with my life right now as an artist. So I figured I didn't have much else to do, I might as well just work on improving my drawing skill set and learning whatever basics I have missed out on because I never went to art school. So I started doing that a couple of months ago. And then it started to kind of evolve in some way, in the sense that I also started to look at my murals, because it's a project that I still want to continue. And I started to ask myself, what is it also that I need as a basic skill set in order for me to take this project to the next level? And the answer came to me in the form of learning how to do spray painting, like, graffiti art type of painting, I guess, with the spray cans. Not that mural painters can't use spray cans and it's only for graffiti artists. I mean, anyone can use spray cans to paint, really. But somehow in my mind, I just have this idea that, a legit street artist knows how to use spray cans. And because I don't, somehow I feel like I'm not that legit. This is my own internal barrier towards being an artist, I guess. Anyway, I decided that, one of the things that I would like to learn is how to do spray can painting, because I was told when I met a street artist in Bulgaria that it would be a lot faster if I could do that. But at that time, because I never done that before, I think the learning curve would take up more time than if I just used my paintbrushes. So anyway, I decided since then that I wanted to learn spray painting, but then coming back to Singapore, I just kind of forgot about it, and then now it's come back to my awareness again that maybe it's time to actually learn how to use this media. I have a tendency to want to rush head along into things, like go out there and buy spray cans and start vandalizing some wall somewhere, legally, of course, because in Singapore there are some legal walls that you can do that. But having not done that before, then I also start to question, like, am I rushing headlong into something that I don't know much about? So this week I started watching videos on spray painting and trying to get a sense of what this media is about, what kind of equipment would I need to prepare, and maybe if I were to practice that at my house right now, because I live in a house and so I have walls that I can definitely set up something to paint, not like on the walls, but unless my grandfather would allow that because this house belongs to him, but more like maybe put up like ground sheets on the wall or something, and then put up some cardboard or canvas and practice. I don't know, I started thinking about these things and I wanted to know what I needed ahead of time to prepare for this, because I really don't know much about this media. So that's what I started doing this week. I started watching some of these videos on spray painting. And then it also occurred to me that since there are these street artists whom I absolutely love, maybe I also want to start sketching some of their works to see how they think, to see what their style is like, and who knows what I might learn from that as well. So the first artist I picked is Flam, because ever since I saw his works on a street art tour in London many, many years ago, I just absolutely fell in love with them, because they are mostly just white based with a lot of black line work. And there's just something about this simplicity of it. Not that his work is simple, because it's definitely far from simple. I would know because I started sketching some of them. But more of the way it looks, there's a certain elegance in its simplicity. And for someone like me who's always hiding behind a lot of color in my work, there was something about that really captured my attention, but I never quite understood why until this week when I started sketching some of his works and putting my own characters into them instead of his character. And what I discovered is that there was something in the process of drawing and in the process of line work that really resonates with me, that really comes naturally for me, and I actually find it quite enjoyable. Compared to painting with color, compared to coloring and all that, like, which I've done before in my works over the last 8 years, acrylic painting, watercolors, color pencil, outlining with watercolor, outlining in ink with a paintbrush, painting my murals with acrylics, I realized that line work somehow, there's something about it that really resonates with me. And in a strange way, like, this whole process of going back to basics in terms of my skill set in drawing, going back to the basic in terms of being a street artist, it has brought me to something very basic, I guess, that comes naturally for me. Because even when I first started out as an artist, I was mostly doing more gestural kind of drawing and using lines as a way to express the emotions or bring the scene to life, I guess. And then somewhere along the way I added in color because my line drawings at that time was not that great. So the color really helped to make things look a lot better because I have a natural thing with color. And so that's how I've been doing my work so far. I've just been using color as a way to hide the flaws in my line work. And all of a sudden I have this moment of clarity that this is what I need to develop in this whole working on lines and drawing, coming back to the basics again. Not just the daily practice of drawing the anatomically accurate penguins, but even in my own creative work, this is something to start exploring again. But I guess what I wanted to share is that whatever it is that you are currently working on, maybe, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like, maybe COVID has thrown like a wedge in your plans and you can't really continue the things that you really want to do, maybe it's time to just take a, reflect and take a moment and look at what are the things that you really want to do as part of your journey and your dream, and what exactly can you work on right now to start developing yourself towards that direction. So it could be leveling up a certain skill set that you already have and that you are used to. It could even be starting to learn something new, or at least try out something new, because who knows what kind of perspective that might give you that can take you somewhat closer to your dream without you even realizing until you actually start taking action on it. Like how my research into spray painting led me to decide to start sketching some of the favorite street artists that whose work I really love. And then from there it got me connected back to my drawing practice and what comes naturally for me in terms of line work as an artist, which is something I have not fully explored even though it comes naturally to me. Yeah, and and it's always the part of the process that I look forward to, doing the line work even in my previous artworks, where eventually I would put watercolor and paint and color them up to cover the flaws in my line work. But the inking process has always been something that resonates with me, and I always feel that I look forward to that. And so it started to give me a new direction to develop my work in and develop my skill set as an artist in. And so yeah, that's what I wanted to share today. Like, don't be discouraged even though things might be difficult now. Just take a look at what is it that you can currently work on, and if it just means going back to the basics again, then well, it just means going back to the basics again. But remember that even if you are going back to the basics, you are not the same person as you were years ago when you were there. So it's not like you're back to square one. If anything, you are coming back to a new beginning based on where you're currently at, and you're going to learn something new even if you go back to the basics, and even if it feels like you're going back to square one. Yeah, nothing that you have learned before is ever a waste. So just trust the process, trust the journey, follow the inspiration that comes along to you, follow the ideas that come along to you, because a lot of times deep down inside us we have this inner wisdom that gets crowded out by all the noise that's around us and in our heads and the stuff that we tell ourselves that we're not good enough and blah blah blah. So anyway, I hope that this really helps in encouraging you to figure out what's next for you, and yeah, learning whatever it is that you need to, such that you can bring yourself closer to your dreams later on. So if you have enjoyed today's video, subscribe to my channel, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, or you can also directly message me through any one of my social media links, which are in the write-ups attached to these videos. And I will see you next week.